SourceFed podcast. Last time I said SourceFed nerd, and you guys didn't let me forget it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. This is the show where we talk about
stuff.
Usually stuff. Sometimes movies. Sometimes the movies for a long time. But we're not going to talk about movies today. We're going to try our best not to talk about a movie. I hope to God. Today on the panel.
I watched this movie. Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh no. Wait. First is Sam and my lovely guest.
I'm Mike.
I like the. Did you just get the beard? It's been looking good.
I just got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for noticing.
And I like your
sandals.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Thought it was ladies first.
Oh, and the
Sure is dead.
His hair seems a little longer. I wasn't sure. I'm sorry. And Maud Garrett.
Thank you.
I would like an applause from Zach only from over there, please. Thank you. No, wrong. Okay, we'll run with it. And this episode of the SourceFed podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to create a beautiful website, blog, or online store for you and your idea. Squarespace features an elegant interface, beautiful templates, and an incredible 24-hour, 24/7 customer service.
Yeah.
Try Squarespace if you want. Squarespace at squarespace.com/SF. And enter the offer code SourceFed at checkout to get 10% off your little website.
If you want.
If you want.
I did.
You did?
I have a Squarespace.
Yep.
Do you have a Squarespace?
Yeah, I do.
I like it
Do
a lot. Yes.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about right now.
Yep.
And bring it back. Do you like...
Yeah, I love it. It translates lovely to mobile things.
I like when it does that. I got one for one other one when I was way younger, and I got really excited. I was like, oh, don't worry, guys. I got a website. It was a SpongeBob SquarePants fan page, and I was like, don't worry, I'll pull it up.
Get
it was
out.
not Squarespace. It was another one. It was like, do it for free, but the URL has to be your URL dot name of the company
dot geocities.org.
Basically, yeah. And then I opened it, and it was just one line of text, and then a bunch of other garbage in the bottom. I was like, oh,
yeah.
All right. So Squarespace is pretty cool. But today on the podcast. Last week we tried something a little different, brought some stories to the table, but this week I said, knock it off, I'm bringing stories to the table. And I got three fun ones that I'd like to talk about.
One would have been mine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
One of these?
Yeah.
Would it be the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Well, perfect.
Am I predictable? Is that what just happened?
No. No.
Quick, do something that no one's ever done ever.
Time is weird.
What was my hand doing?
That's the thing that no one's ever done.
Is that from Garden State? Remember
Yes.
Garden State? That really
Yes, it was.
as the movie with the great
Even
soundtrack.
that was predictable. Ah!
But the soundtrack wasn't. You didn't know it was going to have the best soundtrack of
I
the year.
actually knew Kissing Lipless by the Shins before that movie came out.
No,
that
you
was my
didn't.
favorite.
Hipster alert.
Woo! No, I was very alone.
Speaking of being alone, I want to kick it off with this first story. It's about, there's been a couple articles that have been popping up over NPR, Birth, Movie, Death. If you guys would ever read that, it's a great blog.
I've never read that.
It's real fun. You've been missing out.
Today you technically should have, because he sent over the articles for us to read, and so you're literally saying you didn't do your homework.
I read Sam's summary of the article.
See that bus just there?
There you go.
Yeah.
Am I under it?
No, I threw him under it.
Oh, thank you. All right.
I don't know how I picked you up, but you're there and you're dead, so...
Well, now I'm back on the podcast, so...
Yes, and. But I want to talk about this article that's been going around, or a bunch of articles have been talking about how fandoms are broken. That's the title of the Birth, Movie, Deaths one. But basically, it's about how fans, with the introduction of social media and this weird shift with more superhero movies, more Star Wars movies, more...
well, we're in a geek culture now. You're just in it.
Yeah, it's geek culture, and that's great for the geeks. But at the same time, fans have become more volatile, more aggressive. And
they're taking supreme ownership over these things. It's like, well, I like it. I invested in it. I'm a consumer of it. I paid money to see it. Therefore, I have shares in this, and I can tell you, the creator, what you should do with this property.
Exactly. They feel like they're shareholders and they have a right. They have a right. There's probably a quote from one of the articles. But people feel like they have the right to dictate how the show is supposed to go now.
I like that Maud used the word creator, because that's the only thing the fans aren't.
Oh,
of the
they're creating a shitstorm.
Well, that's true.
They created a blog.
That's not good.
I just have this cushion here that it's not comfortable at all, and I've just found that I'm like...
It looks like you're choking out a lamb.
Rex, it's time! Be a vegan! I don't know.
But there was... They brought up these really fun examples, they're not fun. They're actually pretty awful for the creators of the show. But remember that show Chuck? I don't either.
Yeah.
But there was a blog post for they wanted the fan base was very strong and was able to keep the show going for a while to keep ratings up. But when they finally decided to not follow through with a fan relationship, a ship with the two main characters, people started to write petitions and write to the creators that they were going to boycott the show because they didn't do the thing they liked.
That's not what we want.
That's the only thing is do anything else. Is
Anything.
the only suggestion. I'm gonna take off.
I'll see Justin.
I'd like to tag out
Where
if
is
I could.
Justin?
We have a couple lined up. We can tag out if you're not feeling it.
Seriously, yeah.
But I want to. But she's eating over there. There's a lot of people eating over there. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about fandoms? How have you guys encountered them?
You guys know that I like wrestling very much. In wrestling, there's what is called the IWC, and I think they were the originators. It's the internet wrestling community, which
Yep.
was kind of like the originators of let's go online and shit on everything that's happening. And it still very much exists, but now there's almost like a counter movement of we like wrestling, just love and support wrestling, and it's going to be good and it's going to be bad, but it's always going to be going no matter what, and just give it a chance, and you can't.
Give it a chance is kind of the biggest takeaway from all of these articles, because
Right.
fans get so wrapped up in what they want to see with the things that they love. Like for example, last week, all that excuse me if you have an opinion on this, but all the stupid stuff that happened with the Captain America Hydra reveal, it was issue 1 of a 60-issue volume of
Anything
this comic.
can happen.
Literally anything. There was one I want to read. This
Is this the U.S. Marine?
Did you
Yeah.
read the
I
quote?
certainly did. I don't know if we need to read the entire thing. I can preface it for you right
I have
now.
a few just lines that basically, really quick, he summed up basically, he said that that Captain America was the ideal person that he always strived to be. He went into the Marines, he knew that he could
Fake
never...
person.
Exactly. But he said and he admitted that. He was just saying that he was the ideal kind of man, and I would always strive to be this
I get
whatever
that.
thing. But now he said...
No, they also went on to say, I'm only a good person because of Captain America's values. I will never lie. There's no such thing as a white lie. The person that I am, I could very easily turn into a monster, but I will not because of Steve Rogers, a fictional character. And now that he's a lie, I will turn into this monster that I tried to not be. I will, basically use my marine skills to hunt you down and to kill you because you stole from me 15 years of value that I dedicated my life to. And you took it away from me. So I will hunt you, I will find you, and I will kill you. Ugh! That's just freaky saying that.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
said that he disgraced Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, the guys who created the character. They disgraced Marvel. They disgraced everybody. They disgraced himself. He is probably the worst, but there is a very serious death threat in this. Is a Tumblr post that someone sent to one of the heads of Marvel.
How do you know it's not, and this goes along with what you were saying before, but how do you know it's not a situation where he's going to overcome this and then everything is right at the end? I don't understand, and this goes back to wrestling too. I don't understand how, if you only see what you want to see, then there's no element of surprise, and you're taking away everything that you liked about that thing when you were a child, and things that could sneak up on you and surprise you and teach you shit. You're not going to learn anything by just seeing exactly what you want to see over and over and over again.
A really big point to make from that is what Devin Faraci was saying in that article, where he was like, describe your perfect Steve Rogers, Captain America. Oh, he's good and whatever makes him happy. And he's like, that's not entertaining.
No,
it's
not at all.
boring
That's
as
not
hell.
going to sell issues.
That's why
Yeah.
people don't like Captain America. They don't like Superman because they're like, oh, he's the Boy Scout. He's good at everything. He can do everything. Why the fuck would I keep picking up his stories? It's like, you have to do something.
there needs to
Yeah.
be some
Yeah.
sort of conflict in a fictional story.
That's why people boo John Cena, because it was years and years of winning, and he's a great person. I really like John Cena, but the character is hurting for a squirting.
But I thought you couldn't see him.
Damn it, I was thinking of that, but you were a little quicker. Damn it.
I like you both for even knowing what that means.
Yeah.
I told you that John.
That's a gift.
Yeah.
When was it? 2009. John Cena picked me up over his head and bench pressed me.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
I thought you were going to say picked him up and just dropped you over his knee. Just,
Pick me up, broke my back.
Been walking with a limp ever since. John Cena, run. The settlement hasn't come through yet, but
Coming to
but
get
he's a great guy. But he's a great guy.
Sure,
He's
probably.
very nice.
the reason why fandom is the way it is today is not only the extreme ownership, but also the fact that everyone can directly talk to the creator and share their opinions. I think it was before, only dedicated fans would have to write in, lick the envelope, send it
Too
to
much
create
effort.
fan mail.
Yeah.
And it was,
And
the-
those were super crazy people, because that means you had to put in a lot of effort. Now the
That's
just casual crazy people can just be like, oh, that's easy. I got it on my phone.
While
They're
you're
right there.
shitting.
Yeah, that's usually when I
Yeah.
get the most
Yeah.
angry, because you're just like, you're funneling all the anger down, and you're like,
Right.
and phone's down here, and then
And you can't go anywhere. You know, you're like, I'm
I
just
won't-
tethered to the seat at the moment.
I mean, that's multitasking, though. If someone can still, pushing out that while pushing out bad thoughts.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a
more power.
full cleanse.
More power to him for this one instance.
I actually worry about the creators, though, the people that are the artists, the one that come up with this idea, and it's their vision, and they have a plan, and for them to all of a sudden be told what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but this is my idea.
Right. If the fans write it, and again, all due respect to people who are fans of stuff, it's gonna suck. I promise.
It's going to suck. It's going to be great. It's going to be... there's a lot of points where it's just meh, and you're just not going to focus
Yeah.
on the good or bad. The NPR did this really like cool breakdown where it's like, what do you think is going to happen when you boycott a show? Because all you're hurting is like the advertisers, and the advertisers are going to go back to the heads of the company, and they're going to be... Then those heads are going to go back to the writers, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? So do you want... Like, and their example was a minivan salesman to go and tell your writer of your favorite show, pick... what's a big show that's out right now? Anything. Game of Thrones. If
Yeah.
like you want like any sponsorship on that to go and tell the writers and like what they're supposed to do now that there's no books involved, keep up with what's happening with that show.
And you're just gonna create some like vanilla nothing shit.
Yeah.
You can't please everyone. That's the thing. Like, I always have this thing where not everyone is going to like what you do. Not everyone likes me. Not everyone likes anything that's put out. Not everyone likes Game of Thrones. There's so many unique tastes out there that it's like you can't please everyone. But I think to start demanding what you deserve from your shows is extreme. And this is where fandom has gone a step too far. That's me done.
Great job.
It was good.
Thank you.
I liked it. Yeah.
Too far. Too far.
Too far. Hey, knock it off for a second.
But then you've got the flip side, which is the blind fanboy, which is like, I don't care what you do, I'll love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a little bit of a case
good.
of that sometimes because when it comes to when
Oh,
it
really,
comes,
Flash?
When, oh, when it
Sorry, I
comes
thought I
to
said it too quick that you didn't see it. Here.
but no, when it comes to like comics, like sometimes I'm like, don't worry, it'll get better, and I just keep giving money. It's not like a cable like service where like you have access to all this stuff. It's like with comics, it's like you got to take the money out of your pocket. And you're like, all right, it's a gamble. Let's see where you went. And it's like, no, it's like, don't worry,
Not
I'll
today.
stick with it. And it's just wait a month, and I'll do the exact same thing and be disappointed again.
90% of wrestling fans for the past 20 years.
Really?
Going to every show. But that's the thing. We are putting
Pay-per-views.
money towards something now. And I think they compared the fandom, the era that we're in, to Yelp. And Yelp is you go into a store and you're a paying customer.
Yeah.
And the customer is always right. So
In
even
America,
though,
that's an American like ideal.
but even, well, I think it's kind of global.
I
Some
mean-
places are a little bit more rifled than others.
True.
But you go in and you're like, well, I demanded excellent service, great tasting food, for my $7 for my smoothie. And if one thing goes wrong, you're at liberty to publicly slander them
Yeah.
You're shaming.
maliciously
Yeah.
online, which is why Yelp is a cesspit now of just disgruntled people.
Have you ever used it? Like legitimately
to-
used it?
Only to really get angry at salons.
Oh, you did it. You've
I've
used
done
it.
it 3 times.
Yeah, part of the problem.
Have
Because
you?
I am. And this is a day and age we're in where it's like, I am angry at you and you haven't tried to fix this, so you just wait. I'm going to get online.
Yeah.
And it's cathartic for me because it's like, I dealt with that.
Yeah.
But then
I
it's
can't-
so damaging for them.
But I can't do that. I can't like go that extra step to ever go after somebody online because I'm like, what's the point? What's the point when you say?
Two things. One, I have a flight coming up on Friday. I'm flying
Congrats.
United.
Oh, have I given them a new asshole?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So I went online right last night
I
because
was looking at my plane and there was a passage onto it with this person in the way that went, we're leaving in 20 minutes. I'm sorry, you can't board. I'm like,
But
you're
you have
leaving
a-
in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But the cutoff was half an hour. You haven't left. I am here.
Yeah.
My boarding pass. Congestion at the security check. I am here.
Oh wait,
I'm
you
sorry.
were late. I thought you were telling the story that everyone was still trying to in line to get
Everyone
on the
was
plane,
trying to-
and then like all
it
they
was
did
just the pilots who left.
No, they
I'm
just-
sorry, we're going. I gotta go.
It was pretty much like that. There would have been
It's
still people
basically
boarding.
almost on the
but
plane.
they'd shut it.
Yeah, they just like and they disconnect the plane, and it's like, sorry guys,
No,
you
no.
can jump if you want.
The plane was absolutely still there and was there for another 20 minutes because
Yeah.
I watched it there for another 20 minutes.
So I was online
That's what
and
Twitter's
I was reading reviews for United because I remember hearing not good stuff about them recently. And then as I was reading, I was like, wait a minute, I don't give a shit about what anybody else has to say because I'm going to get on this plane regardless. So I did that. And then quick Yelp story. I used to have people, I have a podcast with my fiance.
A little plug.
little plug. I won't even say the name of it, so
Say
people
it,
don't
I wanna
generally-
know.
It's called Welcome to Our Podcast, and there it is. There's the plug. But I used to have people go on Yelp, and I was just like, pick a Yelp. Pick whichever one and review our podcast on there instead of iTunes. Everyone would be like, Mama's Italian Restaurant. I love the podcast so much when you guys talk about this.
Do they have to send it to you? Because that's really fun.
Screenshot it. And
That's
send
really
it.
fun. I can't. I am not. I feel like I get vocal about things in my friend circle or at work because I never really go online. I mean, I guess I make videos about it, but like I don't go out of my way to ever like. I feel attached to projects to films or comics or movies or whatever. You know, I watched wrestling once.
Cool.
No, I didn't.
Oh
No.
man, when I was 9, it was a big part of my life. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? So if I
Oh.
can't do
Very
the
good.
eyebrow thing.
That's probably, you just
What-
furl your eyebrows.
What year was he doing that? When he
Most of them.
Oh, not
Yeah.
recently. He's in like Jungle
From
Cruise.
like 96 to, I will say recent,
No, when I was
loosely.
12. Yeah, I'm going to say 12. I said I was 9, and then I realized I'm older than I thought I was.
96 was when I was 3.
Okay.
Do you guys think that
I was a
that
fan.
math?
I was old enough to be a fan of something.
Yeah.
And to keep up with it in 1996.
I just want to say that I have never been a person to ever go out of my way to like to write a review or to voice an opinion about something because I know like it's going to be a weird, it's going to be something specific. What did you have to say?
Okay, I think to kind of blog.
Sorry, Sophia texted me something, so I just needed you to fill space for a second.
To blog or
Squarespace.
to blog or to post or to vent about it in your space, which I guess is on your feed or timeline, that's one thing. But to then contact directly a producer or the person writing it or anything like that, to then say, I blame you and I want to talk to you directly about my thoughts. I think that's a
And threaten that person.
yes. And then say, I'm going to find you and kill you. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a side thing from fandom. We recently went to Portland and we stayed in an Airbnb. Oh God, it's a hoarder's house. It was a hoarder's house, and like there's boxes everywhere. There's trash.
There's
just,
no like checkout, like in Uber background check for
There are.
Airbnb.
Didn't read them. Didn't even think about it. Didn't cross my mind because I don't go to Yelp to read about restaurants. I don't go do these things. If the furthest I'll go is see the letter grade on the restaurant before I walk into it.
Okay.
If it's below an A, not going in. Like there's no. What are you doing if you're not getting an A at a restaurant? Like right? Like. But anyway, so we went there. Awful. No air conditioning in our room, and it was 90 degrees outside. And it just became a little oven. Then they had animals running around. There's a dog that kept running into our room and like messing our shit
Their
up.
dog was there?
Their dog was there. This is a person's home that we were staying inside
That's
of.
not supposed to be the case.
And technically, in our one room that has a futon and a bed, it was supposed to be a three-person bedroom that was supposed to be split up between two parties. There was a curtain that went in between, and more than like two parties were supposed to stay in that one room together at one time. Anyways, we woke up one morning and she was kicking out one of her tenants for being loud or something. A lot of racist slurs.
That should be on the description too. Kind of racist.
Yeah, and so like that's gonna be the first time that I'm gonna write a review about a place. I'm
Might
like,
as well, man.
yeah, right? Like that's
don't
that's
open up
entitled.
your home if you're not really going to open up your home. Falsely advertise, and then you have to babysit a dog.
Yeah.
Babysit a dog, and then at 9 a.m, she was kicking somebody out and using a lot of slurs towards Middle Eastern people,
And you
or
had to
people
pay
who
for that?
believe in
Gross.
Islam.
That's so gross.
Oh, she did write one of us. It just wrote, "You three were great." That's all she wrote,
You three did a great job with the partition.
yeah.
One of you were white. You were good. You were better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Really enjoyed the white one.
I was joking, and apparently wasn't a joke. On the nose with that one. Okay.
But final thoughts with this is that, guys, you're allowed to be passionate. You're allowed to get excited. All you people involved with that changing the Arrow subreddit to Daredevil, you guys got to calm down. You need to chill out.
I think the thing is, the thing that Devin took away from that article was he goes, this is the time where I say it's going to get better. We're going to unite. We're going to fight for what we really want. You know, we're going to appreciate what we have. And he goes, nah, this is bleak as fuck.
Yeah. We just can't chill out and just wait for people to. It's a gift.
Also, dude, I think that I hope I don't say this word wrong, but empathy is something that's lost on everybody, and that's it goes along with the ability to like put yourself in somebody's shoes or in somebody's position. I just don't think that people do that, and that's kind of like a lost thing, and everyone needs to have that. And before you rail against something, you need to be able to put yourself in that position. Even if it's kind of a stretch, you need to at least try. And a lot of the people who like rail against wrestling or comics or anything have mostly wrestling, have no idea how to do that and what goes into creating that and what goes into beaming that from when it's happening to your house. And you have no idea about 99%. As much as you think you know, you don't know idea.
There you go. And that's the quote. But no, there was really quick. Last thing on this, we can move on to the next topic.
Sure.
But there was a chance we got to interview the director of Green Room, and he also directed Blue Ruin. His name is Jeremy Saulnier. It's a French name. I'm probably butchering it. Anyways, he did talk about people who review his things, and they like go on Rotten Tomatoes, and they're like top critics. That's what it is, a critic. And he says he usually respects all critics that actually break apart the creative process of his movie, but he loses a lot of respect, and he starts getting angry when people just tear down everything about it, just call it trash, because they're never thinking about the thousands of people that had to go into like editing, shooting, lighting, everything that like went into this. All you're tearing down is the slight edited performances that you're seeing and somewhat like cinematography. You don't know.
I didn't like that line of dialogue. The movie was shit.
The movie was shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's so much more than just the dialogue or a script or it's like, I get what you mean.
Even here with like sketches or table talk or the podcast or whatever, there are people behind cameras. There's people doing the switching right now. Let's go ahead and switch cameras. Somebody did that.
Not
That's a
me.
real
I'm
person.
biting my nails. I'm stressed and I'm biting my nails.
But there's so much more, than you think you know. So before you rail against something,
there's so much more than I thought you'd be like, you know more than you think you know.
There you go. I think that's the quote of the day. Also empathy. That's what we're
also
taking away.
Squarespace.
Also Squarespace.
Squarespace.com, where you could start a trial right now or just buy it.
You could. You have both options.
Or if you refuse to listen to our thoughts on fandom, you could use Squarespace to start a fandom blog where you can vent till you cry.
With that,
where you can use the our promo code to use it.
SourceFed.
So it's SourceFed.
Pretty straight. It's where we are right now. It's actually right there. There it is. It's the promo code.
Where are you seeing it?
Follow my finger.
Yeah.
And we're going down to
You're
not following the finger.
Find it later.
All right. Cool. With that, to end to like move in a more positive direction, you guys may have heard about the tragedy in the Cincinnati Zoo.
That was sad.
I thought you said
the 17-year-old gorilla and a 3-year-old boy whose life is worth more.
That's not the topic of discussion of whose life is worth more. But the story is, if you guys haven't heard, the 3-year-old fell into the gorilla enclosure. The gorilla started to try to protect it. From what you can tell, I don't know what gorillas do.
Didn't have a chance to figure out what was going to happen. Didn't use a tranquilizer. Thought the only solution was to shoot it dead.
When it comes to the zoo, that is the safest route, because it does take a while. Tranks don't work the way people see it in movies. They take a long time, and with that, you have a 500-pound gorilla in front of a 40-pound child.
What they should have done.
Or even if it fell over, you have a 500-pound gorilla on top of a child in water. It's not safe.
No.
So when it comes to the zoo, that was the best
only option.
Yeah, but then with the internet, the lovely thing that we're all on, people have like gone out and said horrible things about the parent, regardless of what you're thinking. Parent shaming.
I wonder if they put themselves in the position of the parent before they did that.
What's that word called?
Probably empathy.
That's what it is. That's the topic of today's
latter
episode.
It's a very, and I know a lot of you, or probably not a lot of you, because probably a lot of you are good people, but some of you might immediately shrug that off. It's an important thing to have as an adult. And as you get older, that's what happens. You become an adult, and you need to have these things, and you need to have that
perspective.
You need to have perspective. You need to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, even just first. Even if you don't agree with them, you need to at least try to see where they were coming from.
Is it easy? No.
No,
Can you
it's
still
not.
do it? Yes.
A lot of things most things worth doing aren't easy.
Guess what I did when I was 3?
A lot of good quotes today.
Well, I'm very calm, and my head is fine.
So when I was 3 years old, we had a swing. The place that we were living in wasn't ours. We didn't install this swing, but the swing was...
You stole a swing from a family?
Install.
Oh.
Didn't install
it from a friend.
Install. I'll spell it. Would you like to buy a vowel? It's INSTAL.
Yay.
But it shouldn't have been for a 3-year-old because it was 2 bits of rope with a plank of wood, basically, a green swing, and it was under cement. And every day I was like, today I'm going to master this swing. And I'd be like, wee, wee, woo, clunk.
No.
And I cracked my head open quite a few times.
What, more than once?
And I didn't learn. And that was a pretty stupid thing to do. But what was my mother going to do? Sit down at the swing and wait until I sat on it to tell me no?
Yeah.
Or cut down that swing? Nah. She made me learn a lesson.
No, with
Now
this.
I have a deformed skull.
Oh, cool.
Thank
Is that why you have the bump?
Yep.
Is that what that bump is right there? Can you zoom in on the bump with the camera?
We
but
cut you a clip of Maud falling off the swing.
I hope we can recreate that. We'll get an actress that's a little younger and we can make that happen. But with
What's
this,
wrong with Maud the age that she is now?
we just needed a kid.
Sam.
Small. Oh, good.
Ageist.
Now I'm in the
personally
hot seat.
offended. But that's what I'm trying to say is that kids make mistakes and kids don't really learn and parents can't be monitoring their child the entire time. At the same time, though, the argument is, you know what? If you're bringing your child to a zoo, maybe it's time to have a good kid harness.
Think
Yeah,
about
I
this,
mean, that's
though.
a
The way the exhibit
dangerous
works
place.
is it's a fence with a bunch of shrubbery, and then it drops off into a big barrier between the gorillas and you. There's like
How
a
did this
10
kid get
foot.
over there? Was it a cannon launcher? How did the kid get in?
No,
Catapult.
like I was saying, there's just a fence. That's where the kids press their little faces up against. They
Yep.
look into the gorilla enclosure. Then there's shrubbery, and then it drops off, and that's the barrier between. What he did was he just slid underneath one of the barriers, and so it does kind of come back to the zoo that the zoo doesn't have a strong enough or secure enough little structure to
right.
keep the kids out, which shouldn't be a thing. But yeah, he slipped under, climbed through the bushes, and tumbled in. Fell 10 feet down. Then the gorilla came down and protected him, and then started dragging him around. And that's terrifying.
Far
Yeah.
out.
Terrifying. But on the internet, people have made petitions. People are going on and saying, like,
430,000 signatures to have the government or the docs check the safety and welfare of that home, saying that no mother could be that negligent that obviously the child is not in a sustainable household.
Yeah,
or
the-
it's not safe for the child to be in.
the best
if a
quote
mother's
was that the man who fired at the gorilla should have turned the gun up and shot at her. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. No.
Wow. Do you guys not know?
It's empathy.
You're not, you okay?
This is making me sad.
Oh, I'm
There's
sorry.
two sides to everything, though.
There is. And I would just like to know, do we have a right to even go out onto the internet and start trying to tell this person how she got rid of it, not directly, but she got rid of one of a creature in an endangered species.
Yeah, that sucks. That's what I think people go. I mean, there's a reason why more people are rescuing dogs than they are having kids in this day and age, because we're so empathetic towards animals. They can't speak, so we want to speak on their behalf almost, and we want to protect them, and especially endangered species in this day and age. But I think this is where it comes down to. People are picking a side whose life deserved to be kept.
And for some reason, people feel entitled to make that. They feel like they have the right to make that kind of decision.
Well, the thing is, you could absolutely say whatever you want, but know that on the other side, it's like freedom of speech, not freedom from consequence.
Yeah.
And also, you could say whatever you want on the internet, but also no one has to care.
That's a really hard but true thing that you guys we all need to kind of accept that you can
Just know that. You could say whatever you want all the live long day.
Hey,
no one
guys.
has to care.
Do you want Grant on the podcast?
Oh, Grant?
That would be great.
Do you guys want to have a chat with Grant on this podcast?
Why? Do you have to go somewhere?
Yeah, I got to make a conference call.
Oh,
you for
that's
being
fun.
I really want to talk about fandoms.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite part of conference calls? Is it at the beginning when everybody
When
says
no
their
one
name?
says anything, no, and everyone's waiting for the other person to talk. So you're like, and
My
now
favorite
it's picking
thing
this
is
It's Maud. Maud Garrett?
Mode go.
I like when everyone talks at once and you just kind of wait for people to figure it out.
Everyone talks and then silence for like 5 minutes because everyone's too scared.
Everyone's too
wait,
polite.
No,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'll say it.
But we got Grant Putty, who is one of our. He's a writer for Nuclear Family. He's been around. When was your first day? About a month ago.
About a month ago.
And you guys are sick of my face.
Oh, okay.
So I thought we'd get him on the show.
I was just getting used to your face, if we're being honest.
Whee!
And there she goes.
Bye.
Bye,
Everyone
Maud.
say bye who's listening. Grant, hop on in there.
Miss you, Maud.
Come on in.
Good luck on your conference call.
Hope you have fun. Hi, Grant.
Hey.
What was your name again?
Hey, Mike.
Hi.
Grant.
Oh, I get her the mic a little bit.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Grant. Hey, guys. Thank you. I don't know who to thank. Did you guys even know?
You don't have to thank
We knew,
anyone.
kind of. We just.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, hey, Hi. Thanks, chair and microphone and fellas
Sure.
and guys.
Tell the guys out there real quick, and girls, what you got, what you do around these parts.
I am a writer-producer for Nuclear Family. Started a month ago. I am a comedian, and I'm very nice and fun and kind. Hi.
You're not supposed to say that you're nice because no one believes somebody who says that they are nice.
I'm the devil.
Well, that's a bit drastic.
Yeah, I'm fun. I'm
Good.
great. I'm
great.
probably the best person that's me.
Yeah.
I think I'm the best me.
I feel
You're the
like I'm
best
reading
person
your
to be in
dating
you.
profile right now.
I enjoy hiking, whiskey, Marvel movies, music. I'm very original. Very,
Good.
yeah.
It's a little
I've
tedious.
never heard of anyone like that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm one of a kind. I'm the rare person from the Midwest who moved to Los Angeles to be in show
Wow.
business.
Yeah.
And I'm a straight white male. Can you believe it?
You know what I was thinking today, and I know that that people don't like talking about this, but that's okay. And I think a very important part of comedy is at least touching on something emotional that like we all feel and whatever. I've been reading so many articles, and mostly my family and extended family send those to me all the time about how we're so ready for a big earthquake, right? Everything is all wound up and all this, everything's in place for a big earthquake, but we're all like, yeah, but I might make it. And everyone's just here.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, I got a bucket of supplies. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, LA's
we'll be
a
all right.
weird place. You guys were talking about empathy and the gorilla stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it seemed I didn't listen to the first part. But
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
But I did want to bring up something on the gorilla and the empathy point, just to kind of make a bit of a fine point. I don't know if you guys have read John Ronson. So John Ronson is he's a sociologist. He's a funny writer. He put out a book last year that I feel like should be like required reading, and I suggest people should look him up and read this book.
Is it long? Like over 100?
It's a full book. It is, and there aren't pictures. I
They've
know.
thrown out the word
Yeah.
required.
Just pretend it's 20 BuzzFeed articles, and then it's in hardcover form.
Sure.
And it's a little, I think, easier for people.
I like that.
But it's called So You've Been Publicly Shamed. And it's sort of about this kind of phenomenon where everybody, so in this case, what you guys were talking about is like everybody thinks they're defending the little guy. They're like, oh, well, the gorilla's an endangered species, so these parents are bad. Go to hell, parents. We should have shot you, you pieces of, they should have, but in fact, it's kind of the other way around. They don't realize the power that they have. They're a mighty mob.
They're
and
megazording into a bully.
Absolutely. They're absolutely bullying, but they feel like, well, I'm just some guy on the internet, and not realizing that like these words have power and that these are, and it's a permanent thing. You can't like erase. If you've called out and this is your name, that's on your Google search forever. Like that's just how you just have to like deal with that.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing too is like gorillas are kind of like, they're not as cute as cats, but they're like an accepted, lovable animal.
Well, I
And
think
people
that's
are not
a person
fair.
by person basis. I'm sure there are some people watching who are like, gorillas are adorable.
Gorillas are my number one. Yeah.
Then cats.
I want to marry a gorilla and then a person.
It's a beautiful animal, but you're right.
yeah,
It doesn't
but
have
yeah.
like the cuteness.
If it was a big wolf spider, people would have been like, they shouldn't have even had that wolf spider.
Cut the legs off. I don't care how endangered it is. That's a thorax of a wolf spider forever.
We should have tortured the wolf spider. They didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
But it's a gorilla, so and it's endangered, so you're just like, it hits you in that spot. But it's that empathy is like a limited thing. It's a very small, and it's hard for all of us to like open it up past that. So I just think that's an interesting thing that you guys were talking
I know.
about.
I like your point about people not really understanding that what they're putting out there is going to be out there forever, and everyone can find it. I know everyone says that every single day, and they're like, nah, yeah, whatever. But with this, when you take such a strong stance on something that you're not a parent if you're coming out and saying all this kind of stuff. You don't understand there were like what kind of sacrifices you need to make, what kind of responsibilities you're taking on, especially when it comes to like losing your kids. Because there was an interesting, there was a quote here that I was reading from a family psychologist about like kids just run away. Kids are sneaky. Kids want to not be around you. They want to go explore. They want to do crazy stuff. So at a zoo, oh my God, of course you're going to go run around and try to get up. Like, what kid didn't want to go inside one of the animal enclosures when you were a kid?
I just thought of the saddest thing.
Oh, good.
Oh, no.
Can't wait.
What if the gorilla was so evolved that like the only thing that was different between us and him was that he can't speak English like a person? But he knew everything that was happening. He took the kid and he dragged him around, right? And you could say this because the kid's not dead or whatever. The kid is fine. He got a concussion or whatever. But what if the gorilla, when he was dragging it around, was just like, you do not come in this enclosure? And he had like perfect understanding of what was happening. And he was just like kind of punishing the kid. And then they shot him.
And then bam.
That's very sad.
It is.
I made myself really sad by thinking about
It was very sad. It was a little funny for a second, but it was pretty sad.
It's just interesting to think about.
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's not anything.
You
It's
gave
just
the
sad
right-
and interesting.
You gave the right trigger warning.
Yeah.
Trigger
Just so you
warning,
know.
the pun about.
Right.
All right.
Just so you know, I'm sad for a second.
We're all very sad, and this I have intentionally like. Sometimes people like, because where we work, they always are like, "What's your opinion on this?" I'm like, I'm not going to say anything about this. I'm not a parent. I'm
Yeah.
not a zoologist. I don't know what the hell happened. I know that it's a big, from everything that happened, it seems like a big accident.
I was gonna
and
say,
I don't
can
like
it be
using,
an accident? Can it? It's not like.
Don't
it's
read a
not
headline.
extreme enough.
If
Right.
we're gonna second guess the parent's mistake to not have their child in a handcuff to them at all times, and second guess, that's like, well, also zoos are weird. Why do we
Also-
have zoos?
also- We
shouldn't
and
have
then
zoos.
it's like you could kind of
Yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah.
second guessing everything, and you're like, sometimes things just screw up.
Right.
And it bites, and our society doesn't make a lot of sense most of the time.
Also, things aren't black and white. There's a lot of gray area, and it's not like the gorilla was at fault or the zoo was at fault or the parents are at fault only. You know, it's a little bit of everybody, and you can't attack something in a gray area and be like, we should have shot this, or we should have shot them, or we should have shot the zoo. It doesn't work like that.
usually
There's a lot in the
shooting
middle.
blindly in situations doesn't
It
help.
almost never works.
It
out.
almost never
Unless
works
you're
out.
at paintball and you're just at a friend's birthday party, you're just doing your best, and you stick the paintball pistol. I don't know what they call it, paint pistol,
Yeah.
paint hose, and then you're just doing your best, and maybe you'll hit someone, and good luck.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Okay.
I was at a birthday party with paintball recently, and I can't tell you how much I hated it.
You hated. I was about to
hated
say
it
we
so
should
much.
go.
Nope. And
Okay,
so
good. Shut that down.
the
Thank
best part was no, it wasn't a birthday, it was a bachelor party, and the best part was at the very end they were like, you want to put him through the gauntlet, dude? And we're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And basically what happens is all the guys in the bachelor party were at one end of this paintball course, and they took the bachelor and they made him run and grab a flag at the other end and run back, but he had no gun. And that was the best. But everything else, like
Was it a
laying
birthday
down,
party gorilla? Like the guy that goes in the saxophone?
yeah,
It was topical.
Yeah.
But guys, it is a sad story. But I did want to hear your guys' opinions on people blindly attacking a mother, even though they have nothing to stand on. They have no reason to really do that. But with that, I want to go to the last story that I want to talk about because this is much more fun. Promise.
Good.
Promise.
Please, be the
Lighter.
case.
All right.
It's cell phones.
Oh,
Everybody's got
God.
a cell phone.
Oh man, I'm so depressed by cell phones.
This is a bummer.
This is
we go
actually
back
really
to the-
fun. You want to go back to the gorilla one? But I want to talk about, I was doing some research with this, and it was interesting to see how two different companies, the biggest companies, Apple and Google/Android, are approaching cell phones, because with Apple, everything is always simplistic. It's like
Yeah.
you got your button, you got your little buttons over here, put your headphones in there, here's a little charging thing. That's it.
That's it.
The phone barely even works, but you have all those little buttons on there, and that's all you
Do
can
you
do.
find that your phone barely even works? Are you one of those people?
What do you mean? What's wrong with your phone?
No. You said the phone barely even works.
Oh no! Sometimes it just like opens up Siri and will just record everything I'm saying. So I'm never really fond of that when that happens.
Okay, does that happen a lot? Like
Yeah.
most of the time?
Yes.
Well, then what the fuck are you doing? My phone has never done that.
I've also never had that happen. I think that's user error.
There might be a
Also,
chance
you-
it's user error.
You hit the phone like this.
You sound like my mom trying to use the phone of just like, I don't understand why
You
it
guys
keeps
don't-
calling the police.
You don't use your whole
Well, Mom-
thumb when you do it. You just like and going around.
You don't
and
dial with your palm.
I go through 5 phones a month, and that's because I'm just punching it all the time.
and you hit
He
it
said
against
punch
the
the
table.
number in.
You said but it is interesting because Apple just released their iPhone SE, and it goes back to the model they had for the iPhone 4, which is just like an edge. It's all metal. It's very simple. Thank you for laughing at that. I need at least
I
one.
think you're so
pity laugh.
adorable.
Thank you. I get that a lot, and I don't know what to do with it on dates. It's like, oh, you're so adorable. It's like, oh, okay.
You just take it, and then you know what? Because we have freedom of speech, I could say it, and you have the right to not give a shit about what I have to say.
No, everything just came full circle.
Look at that. That's
I'll see you
awesome.
next time with Squarespace.
Da-da-da-da-da.
But with Google, they're releasing this fucking awesome ass phone. It's called Project Era, and it's basically you get your screen and you get your main pack with all your computer parts and whatnot. But on the back, you can switch it up. You can add it. You can it's a replaceable camera, replaceable battery, replaceable processor, speaker, whatever. And you can slide them out whenever you want and replace them with like an upgraded model of whatever that is, or like a downgraded one. That way, you can make your phone work for just what you want. Like if you're going internationally, you're traveling internationally, you can give it a bigger battery. That way, you can and just put a bigger camera. That way, it's just a camera and it'll play some music. That's all you need to do. I want to know what your guys' opinions on phones.
How many people with tech blogs or like tech review channels just have more like Project Error just waiting to go?
They have
just
it ready to
locked
go.
and loaded.
They're like, ooh.
I can't wait to shit on this phone as soon as it comes out.
They did explain it kind of like, you know, when you buy a new razor, an electric razor, and you get all your little bits and parts of it, and you end up losing them everywhere. At least I do. Do you lose your thing?
Look at my face.
Oh, true.
When was the last time you got
You've ever had.
It's actually
I
in
buy
here.
one every day. It doesn't make it home. I don't know how it works.
But no, that's what they said with Project Era. You just get like, you have your 50 megapixel camera in this bag with your giant battery and your little speaker. It's like, don't lose that. You don't want that to go anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Does this sound interesting to you?
For me personally, and it's all up to personal preference at this point, and I could see how if you like that kind of shit, this is the best thing you could possibly have. It's a little transformer at all times, but it calls your mom. I wouldn't want this at all. I'm very into Apple. Like, to make me think the least amount about my phone, please. I would lose so much shit. I would lose all the shit. I lose important stuff all the time. I have this little have you seen my keychain with my lenses? The Oleo,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
it? Who makes that shit? You know what I'm talking about?
Oli clip or something like
Oli
that. Yeah,
clip. I lose the lens cap to those tiny lenses all the time. You give me more shit and I'll lose. I can only keep track of 4 things, and if I'm wearing 2 of them, I lose things all the time. So I wouldn't be good with that. I could see the appeal. It's incredibly interesting. I would love to see somebody like assemble it and tell me why they're assembling it in that way, and then go use it and enjoy your whole life with
And
it.
you'll move on with your life because that really
Yeah,
didn't
I want to
faze
watch
you.
it for sure. It's like I would never play any of the fucking Assassin's Creed games. You can pay me to play that. I'll sit and watch you play for a day and a half, but I won't play it myself.
Day and a half.
Day and a half, no longer. Seems like kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, Mike, I kind of share your Philistine view on it. Like I
don't know what that word means, but I like it.
I feel the same way. Like there are people that are really interested in that, and it's just not me. I would much rather have it be as simple and dumb as I am. I like that it's almost like I like that the iPhone. You know, I like how it's almost like you barely need to read. It's just like I want to talk, so I hit the thing that looks like it.
Right.
It seems to me it seems like, you know, how it's like Mac or PC or like Linux is like the one for people that really know how to get in there and want to like get in there and really do the gardening.
Customize
They
it
can get
stuff.
in and customize it, and that's great. And that's one of the few times that I feel like, hey, isn't this capitalism the way that we want it, where we have choices? You can choose this or you can choose that. I'm definitely going to only watch people play video games on YouTube rather than
Yeah.
actually playing the video games. And I'm probably not going to give I don't even use all of the features on my phone
Right, most
to
of
begin
them.
with.
Yeah.
I really only use like 6, and the apps that I use are not complicated. Like even the fact that I have like a laptop and like processing power on my computer, sometimes I think like I may as well just use like the Chromebook, like the simpler thing, because I'm not going in there and editing all that frequently. I'm certainly, and when things screw up, have you ever had to like go in and like put in like code to like fix a computer problem?
No.
Nothing will make you feel like you have like the Matrix moment where you're just like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I don't know
I would
anything.
jump at the opportunity to pay somebody to fix something that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, you love doing this shit and I have no idea what's happening right now.
Yeah.
That's what money is for.
Yeah, that's the whole economy.
You can
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah.
You be you.
Yeah.
I'll be me.
I
We'll
do
just
like
hang out.
I do like the fact that you could take out the battery and you can upgrade the memory, because that's been something that people with iPhones have wanted for a long time. Again, even if you don't want to deal with that stuff, you don't have to. But
and that's a good point.
that's
And
nice.
and to like counter, since we're kind of like agree on it, to counterbalance that, like, yeah, we're totally getting screwed. Like, I mean, like, the people that are smarter than us are 100% right.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely right about the
they
iPhone.
usually are. That's how it works.
We should listen to smart people in general. I don't know why we keep calling them nerds and throwing them down the stairs. I thought we were more evolved than
I'm
that.
so
No,
sorry
no.
for swinging your backpacks into lockers over there, Sam. Every day. we go.
But yeah, they do keep selling us just like the most incremental upgrades, and we do line up for it, and it makes no sense. But it's honestly, it's because I like can't really defend my ignorance, but I just have to embrace it for now.
Yeah.
You brought up a good point. Like with the upgrades that happen on your phone, I only check 3 apps.
Yeah.
Really, I text. Very rarely call somebody. I only
Yeah.
call like doctors. That's
such
about
a
all I need to do.
I wish you could text doctors. What? Come on, doctors, get on the fuck.
If you had an app and you could just be like, okay, this is the next opening and reserve.
and I got it. I'm gonna disagree with texting doctors. Do you
Okay.
want a doctor to text you back?
Yeah.
Like, hey, look at this, and you send them like a mole or something like
yeah,
that,
I like this.
and it's like, like real lazy.
I would love that because I feel like that saves 3 hours of going to the doctor, figuring
Yeah.
out the insurance, be like, hey, look at this mole. And they're like, And you're like, well, that was 3 hours.
Yeah.
If you could just text it to them and they'd be like, yeah,
You can
it's fine,
freeze
it's
it
the
off
mole.
if you want. It's not.
Yeah.
You'll be all
And you
right.
can do that over the phone. That's what you get, the replaceable thing, and it has a
Right.
little freezing thing, and
I think there is
Now I'm
a.
back on Project Era. If we can do that.
Yeah.
then you're on board.
Right, switch it out for the freezing off the mole mechanism.
It comes with everything, and that comes with the first model out
That's
the door.
basic. That's the
Yeah.
that's 1.0.
But you notice they always add more things like to Apple. Okay, I'm gonna name out a few. Which ones do you actually use? Siri. You ever use Siri?
I actually
Sometimes,
don't
yeah,
use
yeah,
Siri.
yeah.
I do not use it.
Elliot uses Siri all the time.
For
All setting appointments, setting reminders.
reminders, it does
directions.
help.
It helps a lot. I don't use it half as much as they think you're going to.
Yeah. How about AirDrop? You ever use AirDrop before?
All the time.
You use AirDrop?
Yeah, because when we do
this is more
stand up, we
interesting.
send each other a picture and videos all the time.
That makes sense. Have you ever used it?
No.
Yeah, I've used it one
Yeah,
time
one
because I
time.
forgot it was there.
Do you edit? Do you have your own YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Do you edit your own stuff? Yeah, I've seen you edit your own stuff.
Yeah.
If I take a video with my phone or take a picture with my phone or design something on like the photo things that I want to incorporate into a video, I'll just take my phone next to my desktop and I'll airdrop stuff so I don't have to like email it to myself and make sure it's small enough
Yeah.
or put it in a Dropbox or whatever. It's really cool.
That makes sense. But if you have a Mac, you can also, I'm just used to plugging it in. I don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't like to get calluses on my fingers by plugging in a USB, taking it out.
Got to keep those buttery smooth. You don't want
They're
it.
too smooth.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
too
want to
smooth.
trick people into thinking I've done work at some point.
Of course, that'd be deceptive.
That's a no.
Yeah, that's
Even
a
though
no.
you look like you do, like you look
It's
look
just the
very blue
flannel.
collar. Yeah, it's the blue
Right.
collar and the yeah.
I had jobs forever, and then I stopped, and I started doing comedy things, and now my hands are soft.
Do you like it?
That's it.
You happy with it?
I don't want to go back to digging ditch.
Do you guys use Apple Pay?
Apple Pay, no.
Yeah, you
I
never
don't
use
know.
Apple Pay?
Sometimes.
Look at you. Okay,
You know what?
guys
I use
use-
Apple
yeah,
on my phone.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
I
phone's
only know
perfect
about
for you then.
at Whole Foods is the only place that I know it's available. So I'll go and I'll like, it is nice. It's a very small convenience, but I'll go and I'll leave my wallet at home. And I'm like, oh, if I just leave my finger on this button, I can pay for it. It's.
I
not-
didn't even
it's
know
fine.
that's how that works. Like I just
Yeah,
am
it's
like, oh,
very
maybe I
nice.
should fucking use that.
I've thought
nice.
about it. I used it one time at a Jamba Juice because like it was there, and I was like, and I accidentally pulled it up on my phone, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Oh, might as well.
yeah, and you just tap it and you're done, and like that's it. You don't have to sign anything. You don't have to be anything.
Feels very futuristic when you do it.
Yeah, it does. But like you could
Whole
have that
Foods
in
and
your
Jamba Juice.
Ooh, the everyman's place they're going. Yeah.
The blue collar place of the century. Jamba Juice.
What if you could make your Project Era phone like a go-go gadget phone? Like you could be like, and it has like a tape measure. Now it's got propeller on the back, and like now you got like a bunch of
I
things.
only want the propeller.
Yeah, you want an RC little copter to pop out the back, and then you
Yeah.
can put it back inside. Oh, a drone! Oh, now I just want a drone. I just want my. I don't know.
You talked yourself into wanting something.
Yeah, I might want it. I don't know.
What
Like,
can you name the components that it comes with?
yeah, you got your Yeah, your battery.
Can I tell you something before we start this?
Go for
You
it.
did something the other day that me and Steve talked about for a long time after. I keep bringing it up because I think it's the funniest thing I've ever done. We were on a table talk, and I think it was the one with me, you, and Steve, and we were riffing back and forth, and like Steve said something, then I said something, and you said fake words in the cadence at the perfect time where it's like if you had a joke, you'd insert it right there, but you knew you didn't have a joke, so you said fake words in the flow of conversation. And I thought that was the funniest thing that you've done in front of me.
Thank
personally.
you. Thank you.
Ever.
I planned that out. I got that ready to go.
Good, because you don't always know what you want to say, but you know where it goes.
Yeah, I know. And I've been known as the filler. Like if I don't have anything to say, I definitely know how to make sounds to fill up the space.
We'll call
wherever
you
the convers-
Filler Donahue from now on.
Thank you.
I know you don't get that reference, but it's very funny.
No, I don't. I'm a baby, so I don't really get most of the references that happen in this building.
Is Ricky back there?
Ricky?
Ricky, Filler Donahue?
You got nothing. There's no response. You got Phil Donahue. Does that mean anything to you?
None of the past 2 minutes have made any sense to me. And I'm just like, well, I guess this must make sense for somebody.
No one listening.
For one
Let's
of
bring
the
it back.
people out there.
So what kind of shit
And-
does this fucking shit come with?
If I'm looking at this correctly, you've got some kind of circuit board.
All right, I'm already out.
You got
I don't know what to do with that shit. Circuit boards, the only time I've ever seen a circuit board is when I break something I'm not supposed to.
I think that was my favorite character in Short Circuit 2, if that's what we're talking about.
I
Circuit board.
love Short Circuit. I'm not going to talk about movies. I said that at the top of it.
You just made yourself so sad.
I like Short Circuit 2 more than Short Circuit
Yeah, Short Circuit
1.
2 is the
Yeah.
Gremlins 2 of the Short Circuits.
I really like that movie. But like, what if Project Era, they didn't even put together the motherboard or anything? They're like, you know what? You guys want to fully customize it?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just
We'll
put
give you
things
everything.
together.
Circuit board, screen, soldering iron.
It'll be like it'll be like going to Chipotle, and you're just kind of
Yeah.
you've got like the thing spread out, and you're like, I guess I do want a circuit board.
Right.
Okay, I guess I
Yeah.
do want a screen. And then by the end, you've just created an iPhone. You're like, I guess this is what I wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going to Chipotle without the magic of the person who actually touches the stuff and puts it together.
I'll be the guy that like is like, I can do this with an iPhone, and then I'll disassemble my iPhone and be like, and now I
Right.
got little puzzle pieces. Nothing will work
I'll take
anymore.
the battery and the carne asada.
But with that, guys, just let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts on phone preference, what's your thoughts on the gorilla parent shaming, because everyone's entitled to yelling at the internet. And then with fandoms, I know all of you out there are really angry about something. Do you feel like you should be angry? Let us know.
And it's okay to be angry.
It's okay.
It's not okay to threaten the people who create what you're angry about.
Never a death threat to a writer of a show has never really been valid, if I'm allowed to say that on this show.
So you're allowed to say anything you want. It's America. It's what we're talking about.
And then what are people allowed to not do? You said earlier?
Don't
Not-
remember. Squarespace.
Squarespace, you guys should thank you for Squarespace for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Make sure you go to squarespace.com/SF, enter the code SourceFed, and you get 10% off your checkout there.
Empathy.
Empathy
It's
is
an
the
important
takeaway.
skill.
Grant, where can they find you on social media?
You should follow me on Twitter @GrantPa. I'm funny. And I'm on there, and there's jokes and stuff. I'm very underfollowed, but I like 8,000 or so. Let's get that up.
Yeah, let's
Stay
get
way
that up.
And then also just be watching Nuclear Family. We just put up Dave and Ross with Steve.
Nice.
That went up today. That's really funny. Now we're doing 2 a week. It's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, right on.
Double the sketches. What are you at? What are you doing?
Everything on the internet is you just put in my name and you'll find it.
You just go on Google, you mean?
Sometimes people ask me what my Snapchat is, and it's the same as everything else that I have.
You okay?
Yep.
All right, you can check me out on Google. You can just go ahead and search my name, just Sam Basher, because
Check me out on Google.
yeah, because everything is don't go to Google Plus. No one ever goes there. That thing is a graveyard. But just everything else, like I don't have a succinct accounts.
I was just about to ask you if it was okay for me to put you in the friend circle.
Oh,
My Google Plus friend circle.
If
and now
you-
you said it's a graveyard.
If you did, I would +1 it.
thank you.
Fuck does that mean?
Obviously, it's the parlance of the Google Plus community. All my
doesn't
Google
get
Plus
it.
fans have got my back on this. I've got a legion of grandpa addicts on Google Plus, and they don't know what to do. They're lost. They're in like the desert, and they're just like they don't know where they're
But
going.
you're there. You're saving them. You're
Yeah.
helping them.
Yeah.
Follow him on Google Plus, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a like. Listen to it on SoundCloud and iTunes. Just search for the SourceFed podcast. Really straightforward if you really think about it. And then comment down below. Say something nice about Grant and Mike. You can just make fun of me if you like. It's kind of fun sometimes. I do it too. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.